Kinda.
We're
Hello,
just watching the
everyone.
opening. That
The
was
opening seemed to have frozen, and then it burst into flame, which is kind of how the weather's been.
when in doubt, set it on fire.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Well, welcome everyone. I'm Joel Barrett.
And I'm Kim Anderson.
We're happy to invite you to this, our third episode or
Yes,
second?
third.
Third episode of season 6. What will unfold?
But who's counting?
Yeah, right. So I have a teeny bit to tell you about old MCAT, and that pretty much is the Saturday animation story. Every Saturday from 1 to 5 p.m., MCAT is holding an animation workshop for kids generally between the ages of 9 and 13. There's a small fee associated, $10 for the 4 hours, $15 if you manage to bring 2 kids in. Scott's showing a little of their stop animation on the screen right now. And they've been a little crowded, so we'll see if we don't introduce some registration. Right now, it's drop-in, but if you're interested in making sure your kiddo gets in, because they turned some kids away on that snowy day.
This is amazing. Word of mouth.
Give us a call, 542-6228.
Great.
You sure? Anything you want to show people? I put up
Very
your new
briefly.
website? Or?
Very briefly, I
Okay.
just want to say the grant deadline again. As loyal viewers know, I'm the director of programs and grants at Humanities Montana, and we have a new grant deadline coming up. So if you are engaged in any sort of public humanities project, whether it be in history or literature, philosophy, jurisprudence, critical theory of arts, check out our website. The deadline for regular grants and for fellowships, research fellowships, is December 20th. And it has all the contact information on the website. And if you think you might have an appropriate project, call me.
Yeah, I mean, that's really decent. I'm so glad you mentioned that the last time or the time before, because I was writing a grant and I took it to heart and I called it. It was so helpful.
See? Yeah. Yes.
243.
6022.
If you're interested.
Kim.Anderson@humanitiesmontana.org.
Right, and because otherwise the thing that breaks your heart is someone put all this effort into something and then find out it's completely inappropriate.
That it's
to
just,
call.
it's just not a topic that we fund, and you've wasted your time, and I feel bad.
That's not going to happen. So, moving right along with the show, Andy Nelson and David Herrera here. They are representing the Western Montana Community Center, and there's a great new conference coming up. And thank you so much for taking the time to tell us about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'll let Andy speak first. So.
Okay.
Yeah, we're here to promote our summit we'll be holding at the university. It's called Building Community with Pride, an LGBTQ+ educational summit. It's open to anybody and everyone that's interested. It's going to be November 2nd at the University of Montana in the James E. Todd building. And the night before, we'll have a meet and greet between 5 and 8 during that first Friday time period at the center, right here on Higgins.
127 North Higgins,
That's
second
correct.
floor.
That's right, yes.
right off the elevator.
And Scott's showing your website.
Yeah.
So it's got some of the information. And is that called like www.gaymontana.org? Is that how you get there?
GayMontana.org.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if people are watching and if you're like me, you forget everything that's said to you seconds after it's said to you, you could go to that website and learn a little more. But to tease people along in this, what are some of the workshops being offered?
Well, we have a couple of keynote speakers. One is Tomboy X, which is a company out of Seattle, Washington, and I think a lesbian couple, very successful, and so they're going to come in and do a presentation for everybody because it's a keynote presentation. And then I think we have another group out of Billings, the Racial Equity Project, and they're going to be doing stuff on racial equity. That's about 3 hours or something.
There's 3 different sessions, and each one is a 50-minute time block for that one.
Okay.
Great. And it sounds like those are maybe more of a workshop type.
Yep, very interactive.
Right. Great.
Yeah, we have some stuff, like one of my colleagues will be doing stuff on Two-Spirit history. We have some health sessions as well, sustaining, good health, so different a variety of topics. So.
Right.
And if you were to say this, I would recommend this workshop for and then fill in the blanks, like educators, individuals, group leaders of some sort.
I think it's going to be really for anybody that wants to come and learn about different issues affecting the LGBT community. But I think it's just a wide variety of topics that we have, and everything from spirituality to health to wellness. So I think the idea was to try and do something that also had some skills building and give back to the community. So whether it be something like on budgeting or grant writing or stuff like that, because there's more and more LGBT community centers that are popping up around Montana. So there's now one in Great Falls. There's one, I think, in Kalispell they're trying to start. Billings. So with more and more organizations, I think we want to try and provide some skills building for those small groups that they can come and learn from different people, because there's a wealth of information not only here in Missoula but across our state. So to try and bring people in, do some education and skills building. So
That's fabulous.
Because the community center here has been in existence for over 20 years, about 20 years.
this is our 25th year. So
Wow.
25th?
Wow.
20th.
Oh, good, yeah. I was going to say,
20, 25.
because it's taking me back to Greg Castle, you know? And Greg was a friend of mine who also started kind of this show.
Right.
He started doing a community interview show called Conversations with Greg Castle. But he had a magazine that he had started, and then part of that impetus from the magazine led to the creation of the community center. And I was thinking that was 98 or so. So the community center's had a 20-year history. You want to tell people a little bit about its mission and services here in Missoula?
Yep, so the Western Montana Community Center, located at 127 North Higgins Avenue.
The old J.C. Penney building.
The old J.C. Penney
right.
building. We're an open and affirming place for people of all sexualities and gender identities and allies. It's a place to meet people in the community. We hold regular groups that meet weekly, a women's group, a men's group, a transgender group. We put on a lot of events throughout the year, like this summit. We're doing Queer Giving in November, which is a free Thanksgiving dinner for anyone that doesn't have a place to go or isn't spending the holiday with their family. We'll do a holiday party in December. We do like summer barbecues during the summer months.
Black and white ball.
Black
in
and white
those-
ball.
Oh, that's right.
It's a
Yeah.
signature fundraiser.
Yeah.
So it
Right,
helps
right.
keep the doors open.
Well,
throughout the year,
and
so.
speaking of that, is there a registration or fees involved with the summit?
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask. I almost
Yes.
forgot. Sorry.
So you can get tickets. You can register at our website, gaymontana.org, or through Facebook. Tickets are $50, but we're encouraging to get people to come, and so we're offering nonprofit rates for $25, as well as student rates for $25, and a few scholarships.
Great.
If you get a scholarship, we'll probably have you volunteer. But
Seems only fair.
it's fair.
Yeah.
A little bit of work. And is it a Friday and then a Saturday, or is it weekday?
Just the meet and greet will be that Friday evening. It's
Okay.
also First Friday, so we also, one of the things that the center does is we do First Friday, the first of the month. So that'll be going on as well, but there'll be like this reception meet and greet for the summit. And then with my organization, which is formerly the Gay Men's Task Force, now it's changing to the Gay Health Task Force. We're going to be doing an open house as well, since we're like neighbors with the community center. We do a lot of partnering, collaboration. But yeah, then the actual summit will take place on Saturday, and that'll be at the university. It'll be all day. We'll be providing, continental breakfast, and then also providing lunch for all the participants as well.
Oh, great. And for people who don't know, I'm going to take your job now.
You
We'll
mean
see
where
how
it
I do.
is?
Yes. So the reception's at the J.C. Penney building, which will be right in the heart of the First Friday action. So it's a
Right.
perfect place to drop in. And then the Saturday workshops are going to be at the Jim Todd building, which is the building just connected to and yet behind the University Center on campus. It's the newer addition to the UC Center. Don't go into the UC Center, go a little further towards the mountain and then go in. How'd I
Plenty
do?
of free parking. I like it.
On the library side.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
right.
There's no Grizz game, so we already showed
Oh,
you.
that's
okay.
right. That's what all scheduling in the fall
Exactly.
revolves around.
Sure,
Yes.
There's no game,
Yeah.
because, so.
Well, it sounds like a
Yeah,
great
it
thing.
sounds really great. And thanks for taking the time to come on the show,
Yeah.
too.
Absolutely.
Oh, tell folks, too, the phone number if they want to call. Is that all right? It's
Yeah.
got 3 2s in it or something.
So the phone number is 406-543-2224.
That's
Great.
it. And thanks again, those of you at home that may have enjoyed watching the parade, the homecoming
Oh, yeah.
parade this past Saturday was made possible through the generosity of the Western Montana Community Centers.
Oh, I didn't know
Ethernet.
that. Thank
Yeah, they've done it for us,
you.
3 or 4
Thank
years
you.
running.
Cool.
Very
cool.
kind. Thank you.
Are you going to show clips in between?
Scott says he can, yes, why not? All
I
right.
want to see that gamelan group.
That's amazing. The catalog.
Hey, Andy was in the parade too.
Oh, where were you? What float were you on?
So I work for this company called Your Fairy Godmothers.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, with the superstars. And
Yay!
oh,
I saw
He
you.
was our own resident Spider-Man.
Love it. I
Oh,
love
you were the
it.
Spider-Man.
You
were
look a
really-
little
It's a
different
secret.
today.
Yeah. We don't have to reveal his
It's
secret
okay.
identity.
Nobody watches this show. You're totally fine.
Well,
I'm really Peter Parker.
Peter Parker, yes.
I guess, Scott, are you ready with a clip of the? He's ready. So
Oh, good.
Here you go. We're going to be next visiting with Caroline Patterson of Missoula Writing Collaborative right after this.
All right, and here comes the Fraternal Order of Eagles, number 32. The Fraternal Order of Eagles is an international nonprofit organization uniting fraternally in the spirit of liberty, truth, justice, and equality to make human life more desirable by lessening its ills and promoting peace, prosperity, gladness, and hope. FOE donates more than $10 million a year to local communities, fundraisers, charities, and more. They get back 100% of money raised in the form of grants.
Engel & Vogler's Western Frontier, Montana's premier real estate agent brokerage, with shops in Missoula, Hamilton, Whitefish, Polson, and opening soon in Big Fort.
All right, now we're beautifying the parade route with a little royalty. Missoula Stampede Rodeo Royalty and Missoula County Fairgrounds. Rodeo Royalty representing the Western Montana Fair and promoting the tradition of rodeo and our Western heritage. The girls will be serving in this community and others for an entire year during their reign, and today they're supporting the Grizzlies.
Three Rivers Pediatric Dentistry, a child-focused pediatric dentist that focuses on minimally invasive treatments in a fun environment. Your kids need a dentist, stop by and see him at Three Rivers Pediatric Dentistry.
All right, and it looks like the team from KECI.
Oh, right.
We
Here we
are
are.
back with Caroline Patterson. Thank you so much for coming.
I'm so happy to be here.
Excellent. So there's a fundraising event for Missoula Writing Collaborative coming up.
So we are having a luncheon. It's our 4th annual luncheon on Friday. And we're really pleased this year because Melissa Kwasny, our new, half of our new board laureates, is going to come, and she's going to talk about the importance of teaching creative writing in the schools. And we're going to have Jeremy Smith, another author, talk about what it's like being a writer who's a parent of a writer. So that should be fun. And then we'll have kids read. We have about I think 7 kids who are going to read their poetry. And then Cheryl Nothi, our artistic director and our founder, does a haiku challenge. So all of the different tables write haikus, and then we the different tables read them, and we
Oh,
vote
that's
for
so fun.
who's the best.
Right.
And while all this is going on, you get to eat lunch in a beautiful setting. Tell us about where it is. And
So the lunch is at the Missoula Children's Theater, and this is the second year we've been doing quiche, hence the name. Real
Right.
Poets Eat Quiche. So we've been putting these posters up with different historic poets eating quiche. So I
Hopefully
bet most
Scott
people
can
didn't
show
know
that
that
one.
Emily Dickinson ate quiche, and
I guess not.
Carlos Williams ate quiche. There's so many,
Oh, and
so
you
many
did that
things we didn't know.
that spin-off, like I ate the quiche that was, of the one about the plums.
The one
really.
about,
Right,
yes, it was
right.
not-
Right.
it was-
yeah, oh, there's
Oh, there-
Emily
yeah.
eating
so
her
on the
quiche.
screen there, Carol, that one
Yes.
that
I know
people
that
at
looks a
home couldn't
little
see.
violent, actually.
It's a little pre-Halloweenish.
right, right.
And we have another one with Robert Frost, and anyway, we're going to post a different one every day this week with a little quiche poetry surprise.
Perfect.
So
That's so great.
that's what we do
Right.
to keep ourselves entertained.
So
Nick-
I want to make sure the people at home have an overview of
Yes.
the fine work they do.
Yes.
And that is to teach writing in
Right.
the schools, right? And you've done pretty
So
well.
this is our 25th year this year. And we started off in 25 years ago in 5 schools in Missoula, and now we're in 31 schools in western Montana. And we're in schools from Darby all the way up to Ronan on the reservation, and then we're in schools in Sealy Lake, Ovando, all the way over to DeSmet School. We're in all of the Missoula 4th grades. We're in a high school, middle school, and a number of schools down the Bitterroot. So we really have a wide range. We're primarily in elementary schools, but we're trying to expand now into the middle schools. So and we're it's a really important program because it when you go into teach creative writing, all of these kids have a story, and you can reach kids because they're so passionate to tell their story that often are kind of marginalized in a classroom, and they don't think they're writers, they don't really care about writing, and all of a sudden they want to tell a story about that bike jump, or they want to tell a story about some camping trip that they took with their parents or their cat or their dog, and all of a sudden it clicks, and they're off and running, and it reaches kids in a way I think a lot of times traditional academics don't, and it's very exciting as a teacher, as a writer, to watch that happen.
And this luncheon is one of your main fundraisers.
So this is one of our main fundraisers, and it's also just there's no cost. It's by donation only. So it's just a great way for people to come and find out what we do. We talk a lot about the program, but it's also just fun. It's a fun way for people to find out what we do. All of our writers will be there, and our board members, and then it's really fun to hear these kids read, and they're everywhere from 3rd grade up to high school age. So you'll get there's a real gamut in terms of writing ability and age.
And both Melissa Kwasny, one of our co-poet laureates, and I think Jeremy too, have worked with the Writing Collaborative
Yes.
at one time or
Yes.
another over the years.
Yes.
So, I mean, these aren't just anybody who are going into these classrooms. These are really, well-respected writers, not just in our community but nationally.
Right.
And it's provided to all of these schools, and it has been for 25
and
years.
we're very adamant about we want to make sure that our writers have either an MFA or some and a significant amount of publication.
Sure.
Because what I always say is that our writers face every day what a kid is facing when they're facing a blank page, and they know how to unlock the imagination, how to get a story, how to unroll a story in your mind, or and whether it's by thinking of how something smells or how something tastes, or through the sensory experience, and I think that's why you can and our teachers do a fantastic job, but it's that extra experience, I think, that writers have that really helps when they're working with these kids.
I love the idea of, this, here we are in the high-tech MCAT environment, but that you can make that magic with paper, pen, and people that will listen later.
I know.
Yeah.
That's a kind of magic that's really fun from extraordinarily simple means.
And it's very low, we pay our writers, but just in terms of, what you need in order to make it happen.
Right.
You're right. It's like
very direct.
Paper and pencil, and
but you need quiche too.
and quiche, and we need funds to keep our operation
That's
going.
right,
So,
and
that's what's so important, and that's why it would be really great for everybody to come out. But it's also really fun. It's so fun
it's
to
a
hear
great event.
what these kids can do. They're these young kids write just phenomenal poetry, and there's so much wisdom in a lot of what they're writing.
Yes,
That just every year blows us all away. We end up, reading poems to one another, and
It sounds really
now,
fun.
would you? So it's this coming Friday, which is October 11th,
Yes.
correct? And would you like people to RSVP? Is there on Facebook or?
There's no upfront cost.
Right.
But the one thing we require are RSVPs, just so we can
You
do
know
our food
how big the
planning.
quiche is.
So
Right.
we know how big those quiches
How much
need
quiche?
to be.
I promise I will RSVP tomorrow morning.
So yes, so there's a phone number 549-3348, or they can go on our website.
Okay,
and,
good.
And apply.
And register that way.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, but it should be
Well,
really fun.
sounds
Caroline
wonderful.
Keys is playing the banjo.
Oh, I
and
always love
she's
to hear
always
her.
Really,
Yeah.
she's fun, and it's a very merry event. There's people from all walks of life.
Excellent. I know we better go.
Perfect
but
way to
Carolyn,
spend
thanks
lunch.
so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
No,
All right,
and feel
good
free
luck.
to come back again. And also, if you want MCAT to record it, we could,
Yeah.
or at
Thank
least
you.
parts of it or something.
Yeah.
There's the online form.
In the online
Yeah.
form. And you can use the back door if you need to, so it's free.
Okay.
Because co-payment was Kim's idea. And
Okay.
that's fine. It's really been working.
He's still mad at me about it.
I think it's wonderful.
That's
I
a
do.
great idea.
Anyway, that is also for you, dear viewer. MCAT will go out and record events. There's
Hundreds and hundreds of
form on
events every
yeah,
year.
we do
Yes.
about
Oh.
250, 300 events
I have
a
a
year.
lot of events. I'm
and
glad
that
you
might be
reminded me
one
of that.
it would be fun to
Yeah.
share.
Yeah.
And then organizations can use it on their social media or clips.
Right.
Not the whole
Right.
thing.
It's great to have.
Yeah.
Okay.
We better go. We'll be right back with
Barbara Thoreau.
Barb Thoreau is part of the Library Foundation, Friends
Yep.
of the Library.
Update.
And there's a fundraiser coming up that's going to be really fun, and she's going to come and share it with us right after this.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover their unique mix of all kinds of traits.
Where'd Wiley go? Where's Wiley? Ah, there she is.
Paw, do you remember being an ancient wolf? Do you ever feel the call of the wild?
You're a renegade cop, and I'm a con woman with nothing to prove. But together, we could really solve this murder.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but all of them are pure love.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Oh, hey, Julia. Are you ready to play band with us? I'm going to play my clarinet.
And Elmo's going to play his drum. Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music. Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
Wow. Hey, we're back.
Hello. Good didn't see you come in there. Well, Barb Thoreau is here to talk about the Friends of the Missoula Public Library Altered Book Auction. It's going to be Thursday, October the 10th, 5 to 7, at the Dana Gallery, which is on the corner of Higgins and Broadway.
That's right.
That's right. That's what's going on. And all the art is there, so you can go down now and look at the art.
Excellent.
And decide your strategies, what you want to bid on and how you want to be there. And then the auction will be Thursday.
Now explain to us what altered books are.
Altered books, that was very interesting explaining that concept to people. That's where somebody takes a book and expresses themselves artistically in some way, either constructing something out of the book or taking the book and making sculpture out of it, or having the book maybe address something. Courtney Blason has a piece called Valley of the Dolls. And she has a woman with stars for eyes and all the pills all around.
She seemed to be coming right out of the book.
Yeah.
Scott's showing something. Okay, who's showing that part?
Oh, from the library's website.
You know, the words of it.
Oh, the words.
You know how
but
it's
we had
hanging up.
Lillian Nelson has one called The History of Painting, and it's mounted on a stool, and it's the history of painting, and she's cut spiral circles out of it, and there are birds flying out in spirals.
Oh.
Just fantastic. Stephanie Frostad has, she created a piece that is gold and silver by W.E. Delve. We delved. And she has some lead in it, but it's all kind of secured and it's heavy.
Right.
She says, I couldn't believe how heavy it was. And on my way here, I stopped by, and the last 2 pieces were delivered this afternoon.
Okay.
Well, actually, there are 3 pieces. There are 2 end tables that are wonderfully done by Bradley Layton, and heavy, but quite substantial. And then Susan Carlson had a piece that she called Spineless. So she has a book that's there's some spines that are showing, and then there's some hidden treasures inside the book. And
Oh, it sounds so great. Now we want to get all the details of the event, and also can you talk a little bit about what the fundraiser is for?
The fundraiser is for the Friends who are helping with the new library project. So it's for the new library, and what the Friends do in the library is we provide and enhance programs. So a lot of things that the Friends supply, lately we've bought listening station materials. That's a fancy word for a record player, but listening station materials.
Excellent.
Some laser printers for the maker space. We buy the book drops and things like that. So we want to then use this as part of a community contribution to help in the building of the new library. And then the Friends also will be helping out with all the grand opening things that are on tap and some things.
It's so exciting.
So yeah, it's just to help the Friends who this year we still work a lot with the branches, but this year a lot of our focus has been on how can we help get into the new library, and what can volunteers do to help with some of the new concepts and the new programs that are going on.
Because it's always those last final hurdles, that just seem, so essential. Another thing I think is really cool about this is this whole idea of altered books is actually, there has Dana, one of the librarians of the library, has been doing that with teenagers and kids for a long time.
He's been doing it a long time, and a lot of those are displayed there. So Dana was the person that people could go to get some ideas. And when I invited artists, I had a link so they could really get what the concept was.
Cool.
And I'm very pleased. There's a great variety of pieces. So every artist had their own take on what they wanted to do and how they wanted to do it. Dana Boussard has piece called Hate Begins at Home, and she's used one of the white supremacists who had lots of books that were published years ago. So she's taken that, one of his books, apart and has burned some of the edges and done things. So
Very powerful.
to talk about, you know, words are powerful.
Right.
And words and books can lead to many things, take you many places, encourage you to do things. So I just like the concept of what can happen as you alter a book to show people.
Can you give us a rundown of the basics again? When, where?
It's this Thursday, October 10th, at the Dana Gallery from 5 to 7. So we'll have 8 altered books that we are auctioning off, and we'll also have some raffle items. So just come and help support the library.
Great. And people can preview the work when the Dana is open. It's on the corner of Broadway and Higgins.
Right.
And that's probably usual business hours this week. So they can see what
see
they
it
love.
now.
There's some wonderful artists' names,
I'm gonna
very
get it
familiar to
early.
people
Yeah.
in the arts community here.
Yeah. Well, it's a great idea. I hope it's wildly successful.
Thank you.
And gets us further down the road to that new library.
Yeah.
And more exciting things. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Barb. We'll be right back. We've got a room full of guests to go. So after a brief message, I think Jesse's up next.
Rogers.
Jesse Rogers from Historical Museum at Fort Missoula is going to talk about a new Thomas Meer opening right after this.
Simply asking them, like, how are you? How are you feeling? Just say, hey, how are you today? And are you doing all right? Just those little things can help somebody.
Ask them how to listen. For instance, when I'm talking to somebody I love, I ask them, what makes you feel heard?
I had a girlfriend when I was in high school who struggled with an eating disorder, and I knew it because I could see it. And I didn't really know what to say, but I just spent time with her. 10 years later, she told me that that was like what she needed at the time, and she was glad that I was just there and I spent time with her. And so that's really my advice, even as a mental health professional, is often to just be there, love the person, say that you're there for them, just start the conversation. So that's better than not starting.
Oh, we're on.
Oh, we're back. Jesse Rogers is here. She is the development director at the Historical Museum at Fort Missoula. Welcome.
Yeah, we're good. We're all good.
Yeah, you could look at us. We're the best things in the room.
I believe so.
Well, so there's a lot going on at the fort. Do you want to start with the book sale before we move on to Mr. Meer?
We can, definitely. I mean, it is that time of year, and we are gearing up for the 10th anniversary, which is so cool.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, because of our great community and all of our bibliophiles out there, this sale has grown to basically the largest book sale in the state, if not the region.
I believe it, because I brought books out there. Lucy Capehart's book shit, you know, she was done with it. And we went to building T1. I'm like, what does T stand for? Temporary. And then how long has it been called that? Oh, 60 years or so. But the entire first floor is full of books. Oh, this is a long building. And there's like office after office, like 10 by 10 by 10 by 10 by 10. It's filled with books.
It's a great sale.
So if a book lover is out there watching this show, when is this happening?
So the sale this year is October 31st, and we have a special thing planned for having it land on Halloween. So you got to come and see it. It's October 31st through November 3rd. And really right now, I'm sure I'll be back talking about it. But what we're asking for right now is if anyone loves books and would like to volunteer. It takes a small army to make the book sale happen, and we're always looking for folks who love books and just want to help us get the sale set up. So the setup starts October 27th. And that's, we call the big move day. We move all the books, get them kind of pre-set up. And then that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we get them actually set up and put in their genres and get it all beautiful. And then the sale kicks off on Thursday, and we look for people to be cashiers or what we call roamers, just kind of going around making sure books look nice.
Right.
And then that is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then that Monday is when we do the cleanup. So that's when we need all hands on deck to help clean up the books that didn't sell. Hopefully not many.
Yeah.
But, and right now we aren't accepting any more donations because we literally are full to the rafters.
It's amazing. If people could see how much energy is in there.
So if people do want to volunteer, should they go to your website? Or?
They can go to the website, and under the staff and contact us, they can contact myself, Jesse Rogers, or Carolyn Thompson, our assistant director. They can also message us on Facebook.
Great.
And you can find all the contact info there. So we accept volunteers all year long for the book sale because we sort all year long, but this time of year is when we definitely need that little extra help on a few days, and volunteers will get some free lunch. And also, if they find a book they just can't live without, well, you worked for it.
Not a bad deal for the bibliophile, honestly.
Well, you will have to come back and tell us more about that as we get closer to the date.
Yeah, the 21st, Jesse will come back. But this is coming up on the 16th. And tell us a little bit about this exhibit.
So this is a really fun exhibit, and it's a little different than what the Historical Museum has done in the past because we're blending some art with history to talk about the amazing and fascinating Thomas Francis Meagher.
What a character.
I know. I mean, you can't make up his life.
Yeah, like his life. It was too crazy.
If it was a novel, you would say, yeah, that's too much.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, drawing and quartering, being sent to a penal colony in Tasmania, swimming through shark-infested waters, making the flag, being seditious, treasonous activities, and have the crown after him, fighting for the Civil War, getting all of the Irish up in arms to fight for the Union soldiers, becoming Montana's territorial governor, mysteriously dying by falling off
a horse?
falling off a steamboat.
Oh, that's right, the steamboat.
Yeah, it was just when we were sitting out there talking, it was interesting because it was brought to my attention. It's like, so he made it through the shark-infested waters,
right?
But then he didn't make it through the muddy waters of the Missouri.
The Missouri, which is pretty shallow around there. Yeah,
so
it's
a man of mystery. And the twist, too,
is Stephen Gluekert's
Right.
art. So he has an amazing collection of his art that really follows all of Thomas Meagher's life, from birth to a wealthy Irish family to the mysterious death in the muddy Missouri. And so with that, we've done, the history of it, and then there's going to be some interactives and just a little bit about the Irish in Montana. So it's really going to be an interesting, fun exhibit. And we will have this museum reception October 16th, Wednesday. There we go.
Yeah.
And,
6 to 8.
6 to 8, and then we have the Shamrockers, who are an awesome group of folks, and they have a special album that they wrote that is all about Thomas Meagher. So they're going to be having this great Thomas Meagher set. We'll have some light appetizers, some non-alcoholic bevies, and just a fun night to come and learn about this rich part of our eclectic past.
Yeah, that's wild. And about the artist, Steve Gluekert was a curator at the Missoula Art Museum for 25 years, and he recently completed doing a bunch of artist interviews for MCAT on a series called Look Before You Speak. And so Steve's a great artist and
He's
really
fun, too.
fun.
Yeah.
He loves to play with the medium,
Mhm.
and he has like a really great, almost cartoonish, comedic association in his work.
There's a lot of wit in his
Yeah, a lot
his
of
work.
wit.
Yes.
So that sounds great. I
It's
know we
going to
better run along.
So the reception is Wednesday, October 16th, begins at 6 p.m., right?
Yeah.
And then the exhibit goes
The exhibit
on.
will be up, yes, through April.
Great.
So if you haven't had a chance, if you can't make the reception and all the fun and the ta-ta-ta-ra that we'll have then definitely swing by. Missoula County residents, as always, are free at the Historical Museum.
Yeah.
So swing by, check it out, enjoy, and maybe we'll see you folks out at the reception.
I love this combination of history and art. This is a brilliant idea.
We're trying to make art come alive.
Yay!
Or make history come alive with art.
With
there
art.
we go.
Perfect. We better go. Thank you, Jesse.
Yes,
and we'll
thank
see you
you.
in 2 weeks, though,
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
to talk about the book sale. So we still have 2 guests
Yes.
out there. And Scott's going to show you a little something, and we'll be right back. We are back with Megan Pfaff and another exciting event. This one, Missoula Health and Wellness Fair. Welcome.
Yes.
Thanks for waiting. Thanks for coming
having
back.
Me.
So this event is this Saturday.
Next Saturday.
Next Saturday, October the 19th.
Yes.
At the Hilton Garden Inn.
And it's free, like all of our events.
Yeah.
So tell folks a little about it, and I'll put the poster down then.
Yeah, so it is a health and wellness fair. So we would like to help people with their overall health and wellness, mind, body, soul, not just your typical medicine, doctors. However, that will be there as well.
Right.
We will also have vaccinations available there. We will have screenings, hearing tests, 4 amazing speakers during the day, and over 50 exhibitors, all with information on health and wellness.
Wow, that's
so
amazing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Because, I think a lot of people are really interested in at least learning more about a holistic approach to wellness.
And how to incorporate it all.
Yeah, and doctors are important, but there are other things you can do to promote just a sense of well-being and fitness and, so.
Right, so we will have all of those
one-stop
things,
shopping.
fitness, chiropractic care, we have the Brain Injury Alliance, massage, just everything you can think of when it comes to health and wellness, and probably things that you've never thought of before. We have a sleep consultant that will be there.
Wow, I've thought of it,
Right?
but not too hard.
Yeah.
Like
She's
it's
speaking, so
expensive,
it's going to be really neat. She come check her out, because you'd be surprised. She helped get my little ones to sleep.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I know so many young parents who would.
Yeah, so she's
like to
speaking during the
consult.
day. 4 speakers, all on our website, so you can see the lineup of speakers. You can see the vaccines and the screenings and all the things that are offered at on our website.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and it's free.
Yeah. Sometimes, people put off things like that simple blood panel, like a lipid panel, when they have high cholesterol. They, if particularly people that don't have insurance, a lot of insurance will cover a wellness visit, annually to the doctor, which I can heartily recommend.
Right.
Honestly,
and
it's
the
life-saving.
vaccines, those are not free, but they are low cost, and we're partnering with the pharmacy school, so they're covering all that part. Since I'm not a doctor and I don't know what I'm doing.
No, I don't think you should be given the shot.
I'm not giving anyone any shots.
No, not you.
And some of these people should get it. I don't know if it's at the health fair. Shingles to part 1 and 2.
Oh, really?
I
just got
I'll put it off. I've got a GP, and I put it off because it's
When
two
was the last
parts.
time you got your hearing tested?
I'm sorry, what?
Right? I never, it's not the thing that I don't
Yeah, I
think,
didn't
I
think
think
of
like every
that.
year I need to go get my annual, and I don't think hearing.
No.
So we're going to have hearing screenings there.
that's great.
And they're speaking during the day as well about how important hearing tests are and how important your hearing is. And so lots of really, really neat information.
This is like a one-stop
It is.
fair.
It's a
really
one-stop
is.
shop. And we will have face painting for the kiddos. So
keep the kids busy.
Keep the kids busy.
Yeah.
And
Oh, and this is interesting because they have, for the screening, the hearing, which people really hardly think of. A1C, which is against diabetes. You know, you can see if you're borderline on your sugar, cholesterol, blood pressure, and fall risk.
Yes.
That's really interesting.
Fall risk screening. Isn't that neat? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think.
I think about it
You
because
have
I
to be
take a
55
bath
and up for
every
those
day.
ones.
You're
Well, we are.
For us, it's a
When I'm
reality.
getting in the bathtub, I do it like I don't want to get the thing wet, the floor wet.
Right.
And I think, if you're alive 20 years from now and you try exactly what you're doing now, you're going to fall down and hit your head. So, that's interesting.
And then you can, get the card from the Brain Injury Alliance, so
Yeah,
you're ready to go.
Well, the
That'll be your
shingles
next
vaccine
call,
is really
yes.
interesting.
But yeah, so lots of really cool information.
Yeah.
And again, the event is free. We will also have a huge basket that we'll be giving away at the end of the event just for showing up. So it's
Like a
gonna be-
lottery?
Yeah, so you just go around, you fill out your program, you put it in, and then at the end of it, we call one awesome person who will get to take home over $500 worth of health and wellness stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what are the hours again? of the
11 to
event?
4.
11 to 4.
At the Hilton
Garden
Inn,
Inn.
which is North Reserve.
Right.
And you go around the side of it. It's their big...
The big conference areas
Yes.
in the back, the east side of that.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like
Sounds really
I know
great.
you'll have a huge crowd because
Thank you.
we're all
I'm gonna
interested
go and get
in
my
our health.
shingles
Yeah,
vaccine.
and get your hearing checked too.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I know it could be a lot better because when I cut my ear, I hear the high end so much. I can't begin to tell you.
See, Neil and I, my husband and I, we just think we've stopped listening to each other. It's
Right.
not
Oh,
that we're
there's
hard
that,
of hearing.
right.
We just don't listen.
I have a really funny story really quick. My youngest daughter, she's about to be 3. Before she was even 1, I had her hearing tested because I swore she must have hearing problems.
Yeah.
And they came back to me and said, your child's just extremely stubborn because she has perfect hearing.
She's hearing every no. She hears every single no.
She wasn't even 1. She wouldn't even look at me when I would say her name. She was just like, doing my own thing.
Cats are known
And
to do that as well.
Cats, well,
They know their names, but they won't respond.
my youngest and a cat, they're right there together.
Yeah. Well, this sounds like another great event.
Oh,
and
thank
thanks
you.
for coming to tell us
Thanks
about
for
it.
having me. I love being here.
Excellent. Well, we have one more guest, Steve Hessler from the University of Montana School of Music, and he's here to talk about the Celebrate Piano series right after this.
There we go.
Advisors Dr. Christopher Hahn and Professor Stephen Hessler of the UM Keyboard Society, bringing guest artists to Missoula audiences through the Celebration of Piano series, organizes the events and benefits to complement students' education at the U of M. It's the University of Montana's Keyboard Society.
All right, and judges, again, not wanting to influence you, but there are bubbles coming out of this next float. This is Thesis Skincare. Thesis celebrating their first anniversary as UM celebrates 100. Thesis Skincare located at the corner of Orange and 3rd in Missoula. They always cheer, go Grizz. This is Thesis Skincare. Grizzlies.
You know they're never going to get that away from that kid. They're never going to get that away.
He's got the power. As long as he's got the bullhorn, we're going to say Grizzlies
That's right.
every
Now
time he says
live, it's
Montana.
proud to join the Zero Fare partners of the University of Montana and ASUM Transportation.
Yeah. So
And we
one thing
put it
I
on
should
the
tell
Facebook.
you.
We're back.
Here we are.
Did you want to tell me that confidentially?
It's a secret.
Everything's in confidence. No one will hear this, will they?
Steve Hessler is here. He is a professor of music at University of Montana. Welcome. Thanks
you.
for coming.
Thank you very much.
And thank you so much for putting on this wonderful series.
Wow.
This is one particular one. So I'll hold up the poster for the whole series, which is Celebrate Piano.
Right.
And the most immediate program of the series, Celebrate Piano, is Pianissimo. And the theme goes to the movies. That's
Right.
brilliant.
Wow.
So everything that we will play is somehow related to a movie score or a theme, something.
So you've been putting on the Pianissimo program in particular for quite a few years
This
now.
is number 12.
Wow.
12th annual.
Yes.
And some of this is a fundraiser for the School of Music and for keyboard education in particular.
It's the Keyboard Society is what we call it. So
Yeah.
there's a keyboard fund within the School of Music that helps our students attend conferences,
Right.
receive scholarships, further their studies, different ways that it gets used.
It's such a super good cause. But most people forget that it's a good cause because the programs are so entertaining.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
That's like
That's
last
true.
fall, I went with my niece to Pianissimo. It was so fun. It was
really
so
is.
great.
Yeah, it is. The time flies. It's fast-paced.
Yeah. And the crowd really helps.
Explain how Pianissimo is different from a normal recital, let's say, or
We will have
concert.
5 grand pianos on the stage, and a gift to us is that 2 of them are brought over from the Steinway store in Spokane. So there'll be 5 Steinways or Steinway-related pianos all in a row, and they're all concert grands or nearly the concert grounds. And so we are now in full rehearsal to get ready for the program. We'll have 10 people at 5 pianos. We'll have 5 people at 5 pianos. We'll have 4 people at 2 pianos. One year we had 1 person at 2 pianos. That was me. That was kind of fun.
You had a big reach, yeah.
Pedaling was a challenge.
I know, and
I bet.
Twice a challenge.
There's so much enthusiasm because we just showed people at home.
Yeah.
We just showed you, Steve, and Dr. Hahn in the homecoming parade from Saturday, and you were braving the weather.
We
it was
did,
pretty cool.
We did. We were ready to play Singing in the Rain. We were going to play Frozen.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, really.
The theme song from Frozen.
It wasn't as bad as we thought, but it was pretty bad.
Well, it was good. It was fun for all.
It was kind to us, as they say. And this is relative to our premiere of this show. It's in about 10 days' time.
Right.
Friday and Saturday, the 18th and 19th?
Yes, Friday and Saturday at 7:30 are the 2 main shows.
Right.
And they're varied enough that some people like to come to both.
Yeah.
Some is the same, and different pieces are played by different people on each evening. And then on Friday or Saturday afternoon at 3, we have something called Poco Pianissimo for the little kids.
Now, is that new? I don't remember
We've done that twice now, and it keeps growing because the word gets out, and it's like kids just love it, and Han gets all charged up with dealing with the little kids in some magical way, and the parents love it, and the kids love it. And this year we have, I don't know if it's supposed to be a secret, but it's kind of fun. So the first 50 kids get to come for free. So we count. Sorry, sister, you're number 51.
And you got to pay? How much do kids have to pay?
Well, it's $5, so
they can do it.
They can do
Right.
it.
I don't know what
Their
allowances
parents can
are.
do it, but it's worth it. And it's a little bit shorter show, and it's really a lot of fun. It's designed just for that age group.
Oh, what a great way to introduce kids to the piano.
Yeah, we
too.
love doing that.
Yeah.
And our kids love it. They just see everybody smiling out
Right.
there. It's just
Oh, for the
whole
students, it's got to be quite a kick,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so we've got enough time to go into some other events, down the road.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the one in 2020.
Yes.
But it is 2020, and can you tell people about? Is it Tanya Gabrielian?
Gabrielian.
Okay.
Now it's Armenian, and she helped me with that. She's coming back for the second time, but not the second time in Montana. She's often been part of the Glacier Chamber Music Festival in the summer.
Yeah.
And she came to our attention from our friend Spencer Meyer, who's played with the Missoula Symphony. He's been here twice with us, and he's a great concert pianist, great person. And he said, "You've got to have my friend Tanya. She's just a ball of fire." And she is, and so we're having her back.
Fun.
And the fun thing about her residency is that she will be in Seeley Lake for 4 or 5 days before she comes here. And so there she goes into all their schools and plays, and then does something of a concert there because they're now set up with their new concert space in the schools.
Yeah.
And then she comes here and does pretty much the same, but then we'll probably get to have her play, we hope, on the radio, KUFM. She does that. Maybe she'll even do that before she goes to Seeley, kind of to tie it all together. I haven't figured that out yet. 2020, is a long
Right.
Oh,
We'll
yeah,
have
2020.
hindsight.
Who would have thought we'd be alive to see it?
Yeah, anyway, she's great. And so she'll give a master class as well on a Friday afternoon before the concert.
Great.
So that's coming.
And that's
The
in
master
January.
class is part of the Celebrate
Piano series.
They're
tradition,
so much
isn't it?
fun to watch,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, and there's some serious pianists in town, and sometimes when I talk to them, they talk about this.
Yeah.
Like they'll go, and they're very eager to go and to
Right.
learn.
They do. They learn every time, and the kids transform under scrutiny, you might say.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But it's so fun that they don't feel like under pressure. And these people we know in advance they're encouraging and kind
Right.
and informative. So
They don't have like a wooden ruler to slap the
Oh.
knuckles.
we take
for
it away
bad
backstage.
form.
Actually.
Yeah, right. But it's a chance for students to get, some top-notch international players' advice and criticism
Yes.
and critique, and that's how you get better.
Yeah, and the people
Yes.
that I visit with, they're not students. They're adults who love the piano, and they may play in an amateur
Right.
quartet or something like that, and they look forward to this
Oh,
so much.
Yeah,
they
true.
really do.
And our
then-
friends in the spring, yes, I see.
Yeah.
I can see you looking.
That's
yeah,
right.
moving down to April 4th.
Yes.
Karen Kushner and Robert Weyer.
Yeah, they're really great. Robert was 2 years behind me at the conservatory, and so I knew him a little
Really?
bit,
Oh, wow.
a little bit there. And he's a really great person. He's just done phenomenally. He taught, I can't think of the name right now, but he taught one of the gold medalists in the Van Cliburn competition. That was his student.
Wow.
He is just a crackerjack teacher and wonderful player and great person. And his wife, actually, Karen Kushner, when I met her at a national conference just a couple years ago, I'd never met her before. I knew her name, of course, but then I met her and she says, "You're Steve Hessler?" And I said, "Well, yes."
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you like my autograph?
Yeah,
Well, it just turns out that she's best friends with one of my students who lives in New York, and they have been best friends forever. And I'd heard about her through Kim, and then she'd heard about me through Kim, and so we finally met. And so we're actually hoping Kim will come because she's a Great Falls girl. And Kim in New York, our mutual, my student and Karen's friend, we just think she's fated to come to this concert.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be great too.
But everybody else can come too. It's,
And
you
we
don't have
showed
to
the
know
website.
Karen.
You know, if people are watching and they're interested to obtain the tickets,
There we are.
Is this website, like, is that going to lead them to be able to buy the tickets?
Well, it should. I mean, you know, we're actually transitioning our websites, and so when they go to umt.edu/music/piano series, they'll see that picture, and then below that they should see Pianissimo.
Okay.
And then later, in a few weeks, they'll see Tanya Gabrielian. And so we're working with all of that. But it
Oh
should,
yeah, see,
there
look,
it is.
Scott's moving along. He's
Right.
got it.
There it is.
He's
Right.
on it.
And support the Keyboard Society. They can see that, and they can give $1,000 or $1 million
Right, wouldn't that be wonderful?
to the fund.
Yeah.
I've heard the 5 million. That's buzzing in my mind.
Yeah,
You
isn't
know,
that
from Terry
amazing?
Payne to
For the museum.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Congratulations to them, and thank you to the Payne family.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's just amazing.
yeah,
it's
it's-
amazing. It makes your jaw drop.
Right.
Well,
It does when you're like, wow,
Well,
such
it's
things.
such a gift of love because those kinds of gifts give forever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And speaking of money, people, if you would like to go, the general seating is $25. I see 15, and I presume that's for the seniors.
That is seniors.
And $10, that's the students.
That's the students. Now, I have to clarify, if anybody's still listening and hasn't gone to get a peanut butter sandwich.
Right. It's nearly dinner time.
I know. They will find out that online it says $20, which is what those posters were supposed to say for the seniors. And so that isn't exactly resolved, so they might have to call the 4581 number, 243-4581, and say, you know, I saw it, I heard it on the grapevine, that I can get $15 seats, and then they should be able to accommodate that. But it is a contribution to the keyboard fund.
Yeah,
so
so
if
you can afford
if they
it.
Can, yes.
If they can afford it, then we accept
Absolutely.
either, we accept all comers.
And I can tell you, dear viewer, as one who has attended these concerts, it is a discount. It really is.
Oh
They're
yeah, it's
so
more great piano
entertaining.
music than you've ever heard. All going on right at
And in
you.
a beautiful space in the music recital
Yeah.
hall.
It's a great hall.
Yeah.
It really is. The sound is beautiful. We are being cued that
Oh, we better go?
are out of
Well,
time.
Steve, thank
Time
you
for
so
my
much
peanut
for
butter
taking
sandwich.
the
That's right. It's
time.
dinner time.
And thank you, dear viewer, for watching this edition of Missoula Live. It'll be renewed on October the 21st. Until then, I'm Joel Baird.
And I'm Kim Anderson.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.